Welcome back to Creating Connections Podcast, episode 126. I am Mitch.
And I'm Vicky.
And today we are with Kaylee Kabasic. Welcome, Kaylee.
Hi.
Kaylee, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Last week, we spent our episode talking about millennials. And so since this was our interview episode, I thought it'd be fun to have a millennial from the industry join us and just talk a little bit about your perspective. That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections Podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicky Musni.
Are you okay being classified as a millennial?
That was my first question.
Yes and no. There are things that I do that I think do classify myself as a millennial, as far as using social media as a way to communicate with other people. Not just social media, but as like texting and things like that with my phone. Phone calls aren't really my most favorite thing. And I found out that with millennials, that's the same with a lot of them too. They prefer text messaging and Facebook Messenger over an actual phone call. So
some of those stereotypes you feel like are true for you?
Yes, yeah. Very.
And which ones would you say are not?
Well, wait, can we back up? Because we had a list that was shared, and we referenced this briefly in our last episode last week. But I'll just read a few of the highlights about millennials. They streamline app and plan everything online from their phones. They are savvy shoppers who can research the best price online in seconds. They speak in Twitter-sized messages and consume in images. They crave reviews and care more about the opinion of other shoppers than anything that you as a business owner could tell them. They expect a custom approach to every aspect of the business dealings that they do. They literally have a computer, television, tablet, smartphone, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi at their fingertips at all time, reportedly moving between each of these devices up to 27 times within a single hour. They are connected 24/7 and expect the same from the people they do business with. So just kind of using those generalizations as a springboard, are there some of those that you're like, yeah, that's me, that makes sense, and others that you're like, I don't know?
As far as planning things with apps and stuff like that, as me personally, no. I use the old school book, pen and paper. I have my planner here. My little,
Nice.
the whole calendar in a phone thing is not how I work. But as far as
but you're a millennial, and I thought that all millennials use apps for everything.
No, not all. No. Honestly, using things like that, I get kind of confused. I'd rather write it down, and that's kind of how I remember things, is writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I found it's easiest for me to learn. Even like typing on a computer, like Mitch with me, our music history that we're doing. I know you see me taking my notes on the computer and typing them, but I actually go back home and rewrite them and reorganize them, because that muscle memory in my hand somehow helps me remember things.
Vicky,
so wait, he's making you take notes on the computer and you go rewrite them by hand?
I'm not making you take notes on the computer.
No. That's the other thing. That's
because I'm the opposite. I take my notes by hand, and then later I'll go back and reorganize them and type them up. Yeah.
Oh, is that why you're laughing? Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's part of my green coming in. When I'm writing things, like analysis paralysis, that one always sticks in my head. I get caught up with how I'm writing and what it looks like. So, and how organized it is. I'm kind of OCD about my things and where I put them.
That's leaning blue, green leaning blue.
Yeah. So when I'm taking notes and writing them by hand, I get caught up with how I'm writing them, and then I get backed up. So I do it on the computer because it's easiest for me to do it that way. As far as speed, because I have been using computers since I was in elementary. So it's just quicker for me to do it that way. But as far as remembering things, I have to write it down by hand.
I love that you brought up the green personality. I've had the pleasure of doing training with Mitch's staff twice now, and I got to spend a significant amount of time with you earlier this spring at that training, and as well as at the conference that we attended together. And I love that because what I'm hearing from you is that you've grown up with technology, which is part of what puts you in that millennial generation, the year you were born, and the fact that technology has always been a part of, you know, how you can operate because those resources have been available, like you said, using the computer since elementary school. But yet you seem to gravitate towards what's comfortable.
Right.
And for you, there's a certain level of comfort in having a cute little notebook and writing things down where you can just see it really easily. And honestly, probably you don't have to worry about it being, you know, fully charged, and you don't have to, you know, have access to plug it in somewhere if your battery is low, and all of those kind of things that come with the constant use of technology. We're always dealing with, well, what if I can't, you know, what if I run out? And so there's a comfort level there. And I think that is very indicative of the green personality, that, yeah, I have all of these things available to me, technology that's in part of my generation, but you are choosing to operate in certain things in a way that is comfortable to you as an individual with your unique tastes and preferences.
Which I think was the whole point we were trying to make last episode. It's approach them individually, not as this blanket statement over generalization program, right?
Right.
But are some of the other things from that list is that, now, because you as a millennial working in an office, you're also dealing with other types of clients.
Right.
You know, you've been with Mitch for, I don't know, 6-8 months now. And are you seeing some of these other trends? You know, the couples that you're dealing with, what are they, you know, wanting to plan everything online, doing more with technology, and speaking in, you know, shorter conversations, and needing more images and all of that?
You
agree with?
Yeah, a lot of them want to see, you know, pretty much just proof of what they're going to get. And I have noticed if I send a big long email saying, you know, thank you for reaching out, tailored weddings, blah, 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 all this fun stuff, I get all right, we'll talk soon. So it is just kind of short and sweet. You know, I got other stuff to do, so it's quick message, get my point across, and it's on to the next thing. So I have.
Do you feel that millennials, it's not a priority until it's a priority?
Yep. Yeah, it's not exactly. Yeah, it's not a big deal until it's a big deal. Until it's now. So, and I guess I can say that works for me too. I do that also, and Mitch, I know that you've seen that also. You know, oh God, this is happening now, get it done. So,
and again, that can be part generational trend, and in your case, part personality.
Yes.
Right.
Because greens can tend to do that. Greens work at a steady pace about things and tend to not get rattled really easily, but that can also make them good at procrastinating. And then all of a sudden you're faced with the deadline, and okay, now I got to get this.
Right.
So again, it's a combination of personality meets generational trends.
Not to put you on the spot, Kaylee, but I think this would be helpful for event pros watching or listening.
And because he's going to put you on the spot. So.
I've already caught on to that one.
No, but I think, you know, in the case from a sales standpoint, right? You know, we as sales professionals and you know, event professionals who want the sale, we want to book the client and those kind of things, where we want to get them to respond to our email about just give me your first song, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case is. To them, it's not a priority until it's a priority. So how can we cut through that and have you as a millennial make it a priority? What would you recommend?
I guess, again, this goes back to the proof, kind of give examples. I want to get this done for you because we've had this happen before, where this wasn't done, and then it kind of turned into a circus. So I guess that's what I would try to point out as far as, personally thinking about it. That's what I would need to kind of give myself a kick in the butt to get it done.
So relating it to someone else in a similar situation.
Right.
And how it could affect your outcome personally.
Right. Like, this is what could happen. So,
or maybe just pointing out the fact that, hey, we're 2 weeks out from your day. You want to get this song for you. And I want to make sure that you can relax and enjoy the rest of your next 2 weeks before you get married.
Exactly.
Pointing out the stress that could be incurred by them not taking care of it sooner than later versus.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And Kaylee, you've mentioned twice now people wanting proof about things. And I think that is something that your generation is really known for. I think, my generation too, we kind of want to know what people think. And my dad was always into reading reviews because he's super blue. But what kind of social proof are your clients and, your peers really looking for?
I guess one of the big things is the testimonials from other clients that we have. I think the written evaluations that we have from clients, the book that we have on the coffee table is really helpful as far as people, being able to see, oh, there's this giant book of people that say you're great. So clearly,
I've seen that book. It's pretty impressive.
It is pretty big. The first time I seen it, I was like, oh, we need to add to this thing, but I mean, you might as well. It's always good. So
probably need a second book soon.
Right. Yeah. Another one on the table.
And that's interesting to me. So you're saying that people, when they do come into the office and they see that book, that having something handwritten is still of value to them.
Right. Yeah. Because it's coming from the client. As far as having pictures and things like that on social media, it's all great and it's fun to look at, but a picture only goes so far. Sometimes the caption on the photo can change your view of the photo, if that makes sense.
Good points.
Right. A lot of people have personalities on Facebook that are entirely truthful. That's one of the things that I found out as a millennial. People's personas online are a little different than they are in person. So sometimes seeing that on, Facebook and things like that, you're like, oh, this looks great. But then another side of you is like, what if that was only 5 seconds of the reception? The greatest 5 seconds of the reception. What about the rest of it? So having that personal handwritten testimonial from that person, that is hard copy, that is truth right there on the paper.
So that helps with the skepticism that people are facing. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting insights.
Yeah. No, I love that you brought up the fact that you guys are aware that people aren't always how they present themselves.
Right.
Whether that's the individuals of the generation, or you're talking about their view of customers. I think people maybe know, well, I don't always present myself accurately. I only put, my best self on Facebook. So this business is possibly doing the same thing. That's a very interesting thought. So,
yeah.
So you are agreeing then also that the testimonials and those third-party endorsements from the clients, whether it be written or even an online testimonial or a video one, those you are agreeing those carry more weight than what we as a company choose to post?
Right. Yep. Because again, you can, You can say all the great things about yourself that you want, but honestly, it depends on how other people view you and
Yes.
you as a company. That's big. So
Third-party endorsement.
Yeah.
big time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kaylee, for being on the podcast today.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, of course. You're welcome. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Greatly appreciate it. We're going to wrap it up then. This is Creating Connections Podcast, episode number 126. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Vicky.
And
that was Kaylee.
That's Kaylee. We'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gittimer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vicky Musni. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.